Swing low, sweet chariot.
Is it really cultural appropriation if you just use your knowledge of another culture in your music composition? In 1892, the Czech composer Antonin Dvorak came to America to lead the new National Conservatory of Music in New York City. One of the burning questions facing classical music composers was how to express a national identity.
Dvorak famously said that African American music needs to be this essential component in American national classical composition.
That's Douglas Shadle, a professor of musicology at the Vanderbilt School of Music. Dvorak told the New York Herald newspaper that in the, quote, Negro Melodies of America, he discovered all that is needed for a great and noble school of music. The New World Symphony premiered at Carnegie Hall the following year, and people had a lot of opinions.
It's really just funny to read the entire spread because some people say, oh, this is clearly heavily influenced by African American music. And some people say, well, this just sounds Irish to me. And some people say, well, this just sounds Eastern European. And some people say, well, it could just be anything because it's so generic. It sounds like all folk music. And so no one really agrees on how the symphony actually sounds.
The piece may have included some references to black music, but at the end of the day, it still sounded European. Certain black musicians said it did not work.
Because you don't really understand what this music is, what it means, because you have not lived this life that I've lived.
Compare that to music by a black composer.
In America, the rise of jazz signified a shift in the American culture and music. One of those composers who helped with that shift was William Grant Still.
Here's Still's Afro-American Symphony of 1930.
I don't necessarily agree with Chuck D and his, famous line.
Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant to me. Yes, he's straight out racist.
Elvis was a hero to most, but he never meant, expletive to me, straight up racist, him and John Wayne.
Emmett G. Price, the inaugural dean of Africana Studies at Berklee College of Music, says in the debate around cultural appropriation, it matters how white musicians use their fame.
This is my biggest record, and it goes something like this.
In this scene from Baz Luhrmann's biopic Elvis, the king hangs out with B.B. King and sees Little Richard perform.
Man, he sings the hell out of that song. I would love to record that. If you do, you'll make a whole lot more money than that kid could ever dream of.
Price says Elvis is a complicated situation. He grew up in a black neighborhood in Tupelo, Mississippi, raised musically on rhythm and blues and Pentecostal gospel.
Elvis used to sit in the back of the church at East Trigg Baptist Church where the Reverend W. Herbert Brewster was the pastor. And in that black Baptist church in Memphis, those brothers and sisters gave him absolute love, affirmation, and valued him, used to call him Brother Elvis, and treated him as since a surrogate family member. So did he have access to black people and black culture? Absolutely, there's no question about it.
Elvis's fame rose with the civil rights movement, and he had a huge black fan base. But Price's question is, did he leverage his celebrity on behalf of the people who loved him and inspired his music?
When Elvis, recorded Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog, that he didn't write the song. Big Mama Thornton wrote the song. And so how did he leverage his celebrity to help Big Mama Thornton come out of poverty? And the fact that he didn't do that is where we find the issue.
But Elvis was lost in his own narrative and didn't necessarily have the maturity to understand his own power. Then there was the racist and discriminatory music industry, eager to use him to sell black music to a white audience. Elvis's manager, Colonel Tom Parker.
They are not putting a colored boy on the hayride.
That's the thing. He's white.
He's white?
That's all right, mama.
when black folks turned the radio on, they didn't get to pick whose version of the song played. And so Elvis Presley's music played and was permeated across the radio waves.
To appropriate from the fictionalized movie version of B.B. King.
You don't do the business will do you.
For Philosophy Talk, I'm Holly J. McDede.